Over the past 2 decades, the amount of money and resources invested in customer education programs has increased dramatically. Now, research on the topic suggests that this increased investment is occurring for 2 reasons. The first reason is that the audience for customer education programs represents the largest consumer of all educational services that are delivered. And the second reason is the belief that educating customers causes them to gain higher levels of loyalty, and that this loyalty translates into increased revenue through repeat purchases. The question becomes, however, what experiences with customer education programs causes clients to gain these higher levels of loyalty? Now, in this video, I'll share with you the results of my study on the impact of customer education programs on customer loyalty. Now, this research uncovered 3 experiences with customer education programs that cause customers to become more loyal. When I first started overseeing customer education programs over 15 years ago, I had a lot of trouble finding information that focused on that segment of corporate training. Anytime I attended a conference or read an industry magazine, the topics were almost exclusively about employee training and development. Now, to further complicate matters, I found that measuring and evaluating the impact of customer training was challenging because many of the mechanisms that were in place to capture information from employees just didn't exist in the customer education world. Now, one example is that it was almost impossible to determine if they were applying the skills that were taught in the training program on the job. I also found that the business leaders who financed customer education programs were constantly asking for metrics that articulated what return they were getting for their investment. Now, one question they always asked was, how is this training impacting how my customers feel about my business? So, my reason for undertaking this research was to understand how the client's experiences with customer education programs impacted their loyalty to the firm. I believe that understanding this relationship will provide me with a better way to communicate the business impact of customer education programs. Now, I wanted to provide context to the findings, and I needed to describe, verify, interpret, and evaluate the customer's experiences. So, I used a qualitative research design called phenomenology. Now, this approach allowed me to explore the topic in greater detail than I could have if I had utilized a quantitative technique. The sample size was 7 clients from 3 different financial services firms. Now, this sample size was large enough because phenomenological research requires smaller sample sizes than quantitative studies. 15 to 30-minute semi-structured interviews were conducted via telephone, and we utilized a semi-structured interview guide that was field tested with my colleagues in the financial services customer education industry. The results yielded 3 themes about the client's experiences with customer education programs that caused increased loyalty. Theme 1 was when customer education programs were perceived as offering useful information, customer loyalty increased. 5 out of the 7 participants indicated that their experiences with customer education programs increased their loyalty to the firm because the programs offered useful information. Theme 2 was when the presentation of customer education programs are perceived as professional, customer loyalty increases. All 7 participants reported that the professionalism of the education programs caused them to regard the firm favorably. 2 of the 7 reported their perceptions of professionalism were associated with the trainer, including the trainer's friendliness and the ability to remember students' names. The remaining participants reported that their impression of professionalism was associated with the quality of the educational presentations, specifically the visuals, the videos, the tables, and the graphics. Theme 3 was when customer education programs offer information in a way that is perceived as manageable, customer loyalty increases. The participants described manageable as presenting the information in bite-sized pieces in a way that allows them to understand the big picture and seeing how everything connects, as causing them to gain more loyalty. Now, each of these themes revealed by the study seem to suggest that the instructional design of customer education programs impacts customer loyalty. The results also confirm the research of Global Klein et al., who found that positive feelings developed through repeated exposure to a stimulus object can be extended to the entity responsible for delivering that stimulus. If you'd like a copy of the research report that includes a review of the literature on the topic of customer education, the theoretical framework that drove the study's implications and recommendations for the individuals who oversee customer education programs, just send me a note at Kaleem, at drkaleemaislam.com.